What's up guys? So for today's video, I'm sharing my top essentials for toddlers. These are the items if your baby is turning 1 and they are entering into toddlerhood, which I do feel like toddlerhood tends to start around that 1.5 year mark. Then you definitely want to pay attention to this video and get these essentials because you want to prepare for toddlerhood. Because let me tell you something, toddlerhood, it ain't no walk in the park. Although I will say toddler stage is my favorite stage. I gotta say, I'm rambling a little bit, but I did love that sort of baby stage where they weren't a newborn, but they weren't a toddler yet. So I did love that stage, but toddlers are so much fun. Anyways, these items are going to save your life as a mom. So definitely stay around to hear all of them. The first one that I have here is, not a shock, a sensory table. So this sensory table has completely saved my life. I think my sister got it for Kylo actually for his first birthday, and it was so useful even all the way back when he was 1, because he would literally sit on this table and eat his food. We would color on it. Like there's so many activities you can do with them on this table from when they're really little up until they're like even 6 years old-ish. So you'll get so many years out of this table, even I think a little older than 6 as well. Now that Kylo's a little older, he still eats on this table, but we do a lot of sensory activities in this bin for him. Everything from kinetic sand to Play-Doh to coloring to painting is all done on this table. And it's nice because toddlers, they do really well with, well, you gotta set the boundaries with them, but they do really well with structure. So them knowing, hey, when you're painting, we stay at our table. The table kind of gives them that border where they know they can paint freely, but on the table so that they're not walking around the house wildly with paint in their hands. So the table gives them some structure and boundaries as to where to keep their messy sand and Play-Doh and paint and all that. And it's just, oh, it is so much fun. Fun fact, we actually, when we moved from the US to Canada, we were staying in an Airbnb for a few weeks. We didn't have our items. So one of the biggest things that we were missing was his sensory table. Ask my husband, I probably talked his ear off 20 million times a day about how much I'm missing Kylo's sensory table. And then even when we did move into our home into the US, we still had a hard time getting our stuff from Canada to the US. It took like 3 months, I think. We lived without his sensory table for a good 4 months. June, July, August, September, October, 5 months, and it was painful. Also, when you're playing with messy things like kinetic sand, for example, it's really helpful to do those sorts of activities in a bin. And so what's really great about the sensory table is obviously the bins are just right in there. If you have a pretty tight budget and you don't want to spend the money on a sensory table, then I definitely recommend just getting some cheap bins from Walmart, and you can do sensory activities in those bins. Just in general, having a bin to do the messy activities in is super helpful. Mine's actually from IKEA, but I actually prefer some of the ones on Amazon because a lot of the ones on Amazon now, they have that double-sided where you can flip the tabletop over and have a chalkboard. And a lot of them also now have the paper roll that you can have on the side so you can easily roll the paper over. So I actually love the ones on Amazon a little bit more than the ones that I have. I have 2 sensory table options that I think are really great options that I will link down below. One is a little bit more pricey because it comes with 2 little stools, and then one is cheaper, but you'd have to buy your own chairs. So I will link them both down below. They are great options. Okay, number 2, if you have a little toddler, then you know they are snackers. You just can't get away from it. I don't try to get away from it. I embrace it. They love snacking. I love it because it keeps them content and happy. I love this little snack spinner, okay? It is so amazing. We actually bring this almost every time when we pick up Kylo up from school because we have a good 10-15 minute car ride. And this is so helpful in that car ride, especially after school. They get the after school munchies. It kind of makes sense because they eat lunch at 12 and then you don't pick them up until like 3-ish. So they kind of get hungry, and you need time as a mom to 1, drive home, and then 2, when you get home, kind of prep dinner. So it's really helpful to just have this snack container. Also, we took it to the beach. We take it everywhere with us on all of our little outings. This is actually the size small. It's really great just for like a small little snack tray. But if you are doing larger outings, I do recommend the large size. I don't own the large size, but I definitely want to get my hands on it because you can actually fit like a full-size sandwich in it if you cut it up. These little snack spinners are amazing. It really keeps all the food in there. It's also fun for the kids because they get to pop it. Kylo pretty much knew how to use it from when he was around 2-ish, so it's super easy for your toddler to use on their own as well. Next thing, I mean, you're gonna need a water bottle. I feel like this is a really easy, simple one, but it's definitely a staple. And I wanted to make sure I mentioned this one because I have my absolute favorite that I will link down below, and it's from Simply Modern. I love this one because it is stainless steel, so it's super important to kind of avoid plastic if possible. You don't want those microplastics kind of seeping into your kids' water. Even if you leave your water bottle in the heat in your car and then like it's in plastic, it can really leak those microplastics microplastics into the water. So I do prefer to use stainless steel. It also keeps your kids water cool. So bringing a stainless steel water bottle to the beach really came in handy. And then next, a basketball hoop. This is something that is so random, guys, but I feel like there are so many toys out there for kids, and I don't know if you guys can relate to me, but as a mom, there's so many toys out there, and I've actually made a couple mistakes where I bought toys and then Kylo doesn't really like them or play with them, and I realized afterwards that they're not like forever toys. So one of my favorite toys to buy Kylo are forever toys. Toys that I'm like, could a 2-year-old use this? Could an 8-year-old use this? Could I even have fun with this using with him? And a basketball hoop is one of those things. We got this nice little basketball hoop on Amazon that it's like an over the door one, but you can also just screw it into the wall. Because the door is a little too high for Kylo, and I knew that at his age, he's almost 3, that he would get frustrated not being able to get into the hoop if it's too high. So we decided to keep over the door mount, but instead just put it onto the wall. We actually just used command strips, and Kylo absolutely loves it. Like, it's something we do almost every night before bed. He just runs around, slams the ball in there. Me and my husband have fun with it, and we're like 30 plus, okay? This is one of those forever toys that is gonna get your kids' energy out. They're gonna use it all the time. They're actually going to use it. They're not just gonna get bored of it and throw it away and not pay attention to it. And they're gonna use it for years and years to come. So definitely seems random, but get your toddler a basketball hoop. Okay, these little glass smoothie bottles, I love these so much. Again, they are glass, so gearing away from plastic. We use these religiously, like all the time. We use them for random little drinks or juices that we give Kylo. We use them for smoothies. We use them for milk. Like, we use these so much. They are incredible. Again, because they're glass, but they do have that protective silicone sleeve so that if it does fall, it doesn't break. They may be a little bit on the pricey side, but they are worth it, and they come in a bunch of cute colors. Okay, the next two, I feel like could be 2 items in one. So a sandbox or a mud kitchen. This is definitely like a big ticket item. And I say big ticket, they range from about like $100 US. Like, you could get a mud kitchen or a sandbox for about $100 US, and you don't even need to get an actual sandbox. If you're on a budget, you can just get a large, like slim, low plastic bin from Walmart, or even like a small plastic pool, and fill it with sand. There's your sandbox. Just make sure you're covering it up at night. They say, like, you know, cats will kind of litter in it. Definitely don't want to get it wet from the rain, so make sure you're covering it. This is like major key, you guys. If you want to enjoy your coffee in peace in the morning, and especially with summer coming up, get your kid a sandbox, okay? They're gonna have a blast in it. Kylo used his for hours and hours on end for weeks straight when it was new. You know how kids are when something's new, they love it. But even though it's not new anymore, he still uses his sandbox a couple times a week for like an hour straight by himself. Like, this is so good for independent play. It's gonna give you time to get things done or drink your coffee in peace or lay down and relax. But this is kind of a 2-in-1 item because you can also get them a mud kitchen. I actually plan on getting a mud kitchen for Kylo for his birthday, so he's gonna have both in our backyard because I love keeping Kylo busy and outside, like out of the house. Like, it's just good to get that fresh air, get that sun, and just get him playing with nature, and a mud kitchen does that. So I'm actually planning on getting him one. I'll link a couple options down below, but I don't own any of them yet. I haven't decided which one I'm gonna get, but mud kitchens are so fun for kids because I actually also plan on getting him like a little, I haven't decided yet, but some sort of like wooden crate or something. I don't know, maybe like a metal planter as well. I don't know, but I'm gonna fill it up with dirt. Also just have like a corner in our backyard where I don't mind if he messes up the grass in that corner, and he literally digs up the dirt, digs up the grass, puts it in the pot, and he actually does this with his sandbox right now. And I see him doing it. He'll say he's making soup. He'll mix grass and stuff from our yard with the sand and like put water in it and mix it up, and he says he's cooking, but I don't want him putting water in his sandbox. So I already know he enjoys doing that, so he's gonna have so much fun in his mud kitchen. So the next one is actually some sort of like block playset. This is actually a large block playset that I got for Kylo for Christmas. He has so much fun with these. Again, this is another sort of large item that's more of like physical play. It gets them moving, it gets them creative. He literally stacks them up on top of each other and says that he's building a house as well. He puts his monster trucks down the little slide, so it also doubles as like a car ramp. He has remote cars that he'll put on top and then remote control it down the slide as well. He goes down the slide. When it was Christmas time, he pretended that the little circle thing was his chimney, and then when we're playing hide and seek, he pretends that the circle part is his cave and that he's the monster. It's just seriously so much fun. A block set like this is a very open-ended play item that allows them to use their imagination, but they also can just be super physically active with it and get all their energy out. So highly recommend this one. It is from Gather. It is quite pricey. I will see if I can find a cheaper alternative on Amazon, but I will link the Gather one as well because I do recommend it. It is very good quality. activity. Okay, so here is the last two items that are kind of similar, but whatever. So we have activity bins. Guys, doing these bins that I did is just everything. I highly recommend getting these bins. They have the really nice like craft tray on top where you get to organize the different pieces to whatever sort of activity is in there. This is how we organize his Play-Doh. This is how we organize his coloring, his magnet books, like whatever activity it is, you can just have it sorted in this bin. When you as a mom are starting to feel like, I don't know what to do to keep my kid busy right now, you can just go to the activity bin area in your home and pick one of the activities, and it will keep you guys busy and away from the screens. It's already organized, because I used to feel really overwhelmed when I just had one giant like activity drawer, and it was just all kind of like a mismatch of everything. Like you'd have Play-Doh, and then you'd have some kinetic sand, and then you'd have like a random bulldozer and some markers and a coloring book, and you just kind of not know what to do with it in a sense. There's just all mixed together, and your kid kind of feels overwhelmed too, because they're staring at a bunch of items and they end up just pulling them all out and not really knowing what to do with it. The activity bins keeps the activity quite structured and organized for your kids, so they know what to do with it. They have all the tools to use for that specific activity. Highly recommend getting activity bins. We currently have 4 stacked up. I'm getting more so that I can create even more activities for them. So the next and last one is sensory bins. Similar to the activity bins, I have these really nice kind of slim sensory bins. You can easily just take these bins and pop them on top or into your sensory table, and they're already done for you. So if you've ever felt like as a mom overwhelmed, like, okay, we have these sensory tables, now what do we do with them? And you might feel overwhelmed, like, wait, what sensory theme do I set up for them? Like, and then if they do want to do a sensory activity, maybe you're busy and now you have to go through all of your little tools and come up with a sensory activity for them and put it all together, and it could feel overwhelming. It's another task for you to do. This is why sensory bins are so important, because you have the sensory activity theme already set in that bin. So we have a dinosaur bin, we have a construction bin, we have an ice cream sensory bin, and he knows them. Like he'll be like, Mommy, I want to play with the construction bin, or Mommy, I want to play with the dinosaur bin, the ice cream bin. So it's kind of like a grab and go situation. That's how I used to do things. Like when we lived at our old house, I would like have to set up activities. I don't have to set them up anymore. They're already structured and organized in their each little activity bins or sensory bins. So highly recommend getting them. Y'all, entering toddlerhood as a mom is a whole different ball game. Okay, we're talking coloring, sensory activities, sandboxes, and kinetic sand, and all the things and all the fun, but it is so much fun just sitting down and playing with them and getting creative and watching them being creative. So there are all of my toddler essentials. I hope you guys like them. As always, I will leave the links down below, and let me know what you guys think have been essentials for your toddlers.